Hey everybody, Leafbeat here, and yeah, I'm gonna be one of the billions of people that talk about this list and whatnot. And man, but before I begin the video, though, I got one thing I want to say. I am so glad I didn't buy a Trishula for like $30 or however much it was going for. I mean, if any of you guys like spent like over $30 for that Trishula, expecting it to come back because of the list that got leaked from the V scan thingamabobber that I talked about and whatever, yeah, you may as well just throw it down the drain. Well, actually, you can hold on to it, I guess, because you spent so much money on it. But simply put, Trishulas isn't coming back. In fact, yeah, I feel like I'm laughing at some people, and then others I just feel bad for. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a hit and miss kind of thing. But anyways, that's my little mockery thingy, whatever it is of the day. And yeah, I'm gonna go over this list and yeah, just give my reaction to the list and stuff like that. And let me tell you, this list is drastically different from what the OCG was supposedly gonna have. And everyone was talking about the whole V jump scan thingamabobber, and part of the list is correct. It is the same, but some of it is like, oh my god, it's way different because this wasn't there, or this wasn't there, or that wasn't there. So, and then, or this didn't come back or whatever. So let's go over it. So yeah, we have the baby dragons. We have Burner, Lightning, Reactant, and Stream. They're all banned, as we saw before, and we're not really surprised at this. So that stayed true. And, and also Spell of Good Judgment, that also got banned as well. So all 5 of those cards that we saw on the OCG ban listing, they stayed banned for us. So that's no surprise there. But now we're gonna get into like one of the cards that not that I play Heroes anymore, but where I used to play it like years ago, like when I used to be a Hero fan. I watched GX and stuff like that. But they banned Elemental Hero Stratos. Elemental Hero Stratos is now forbidden. It's banned. It was at 1 and now it's banned. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, I was like, there's no way. I was just like, it cannot be. What have you done? But I don't know. I was just like shocked and awed and everything. Like, Stratos is banned now. It's kind of like a kick in the face, though, or kick in the balls, I guess, because later down the list you're gonna see it's pretty much just like a kick in the balls, basically, because of what else they do. But yeah, it was limited. Now it's banned, and I guess heroes are dead now. I don't know if they're like dead, but maybe they are now. But if heroes are dead, this is why they're dead, because of Stratos getting banned. But if they're not dead, leave a comment below. I mean, I'm pretty sure maybe you guys have planned for this. Maybe, I don't know if you guys are like hero players or not. Maybe you planned for this, but I don't know. I mean, some people were thinking it would be banned, but honestly, I didn't expect it to be banned because I didn't think it was ban worthy or anything. Oh, and here's another shocker for me. That pun. But anyways, this was kind of surprising to me. Number 16 Shockmaster. Now, I say it was kind of shocking just because I see why they banned it, but at the same time, I didn't expect them to ban it. Because basically, it's the way I see it, like if they hit this card, putting it to 1 would do nothing, because a lot of decks only ran 1 of these anyways. So, I mean, I guess if they had to hit this card, banning it would be the only thing to do, and I guess it's just because the card single-handedly locks out certain decks. Decks like Prophecy, they need spell cards, right? So a lot of the times you're going to be locked out of the game, and certain decks can make it really easy as early as first turn of the game. So yeah, and plus it's our second Xyz monster to get banned, and it's the first number monster getting banned. So I guess that's a historical moment. It's like when Wind-Up's Carrier Zenmaity was the first ever Xyz to get banned. I mean, I guess history was made, and both are pretty broken, but I feel like Zenmaity was more broken for what it did for the deck it was ran in. Plus, being generic didn't help because you could just go tour guide into it and then just do stuff. Card Destruction got banned. Now, I found it interesting. I found this funny, kind of, because with the Worlds or whatever, the final game was won because of Card Destruction. I think I think the Dragon Lord player drew in the burner and blaster off the card destruction, and then he blew up Jalgan with blaster's effect to blow up a card, and then proceeded to win the game. So, yeah, he pretty much sacked for victory. And if it got banned because of that, I'm gonna be like, wow, congrats, Dragon Rulers, you got the card banned. And I don't know. I mean, I guess also this means Dark World can't just activate it and do whatever they want, but I don't know. Gateway of the Six. Now, Gateway of the Six, this card is interesting. It's been at 1 for like the longest time, and as much as I hated seeing that card and, you know, getting sacked by it and stuff like that, I mean, I didn't expect it to get banned. I mean, I guess it's just because even at 1, this card would prove to be a real big problem, especially since, like, I don't know, I mean, there was something I saw with, like, Evil Swarm Ouroboros and Gustal Emerald where you could, like, cycle through your keys on to keep making Ouroboros, and you have, like, Hand of the Six, you go Ouroboros effect, discard a card out of their hand, and then you tribute a monster, and yada yada yada. There's like some weird combo where you can like keep making Ouroboros and you keep making Emerald to recycle your Ouroboros back or whatever, and this card would gain counters for every time you summon the keys on or whatever. So yeah, it was just something crazy like that, and I don't know if that's why I got banned, but if it was, then dang, they really wanted to stop it once and for all, I guess. Heavy Storm. Now, okay, now this kind of upset me. Now, this isn't just because, oh my god, I love Heavy Storm or whatever, and to be honest with you guys, like, you probably didn't know this, but I hate getting hit by Heavy Storm. I really hate getting hit by Heavy Storm when I have combos set with my trap cards or whatever, like I may have Call the Haunt and some other cards. I hate getting Heavy Storm by my opponent, but at the same time, I feel like Heavy Storm is a necessary evil in the game. And the way I see it, even though I hate getting hit by Heavy Storm, it pretty much punished me for overextending my back row without having any way of stopping the Heavy Storm. You know, like if I didn't have Starlight Road or whatever, I mean, I had no reason to set 3 cards face down or whatever. And, you know, maybe my opponent didn't have the Heavy Storm. Maybe I could nut on them next turn. Because, I don't know, I'm kind of mixed on it. This is one of those cards that I feel like, I don't know, it's going to be a while before I get over this one just because I hate getting hit by Heavy Storm, but I feel like it's a necessary evil in the game, so no matter how much I hate getting Heavy Stormed, obviously there are people that like using Heavy Storm and hate getting Heavy Storm, so, and, there's just a cycle of Heavy Storm getting banned, then it coming back, then it getting banned, so, I mean, it's been a while since it was banned, though, so, I don't know, we'll have to adjust to it, I guess, and, same goes for Monster Reborn and Pot of Avarice. Same boat, basically, like Monster Reborn. I mean, a lot of people were talking about how this card is just way too good in the game, and it hasn't been banned for, like, the longest time or whatever, but, well, since it went to 1 or whatever, but, I don't know, like, I feel like the card isn't as bad as something like, I guess it isn't. I think it's worse than Heavy Storm just because you can actually sack harder off of Reborn sometimes. But with Heavy Storm, though, I guess it's just because of what's going to happen later on the list that they hit this card to ban anyway, so we'll get into that in a bit later. But, yeah, Reborn, I don't know, I'll get over that because this is going to be difficult for me. Now, I understand why they probably banned it. I mean, there's a couple reasons. One, I mean, it's so it's certain decks like Mermail and stuff like that, you could just go put a bunch of monsters in the graveyard, whether you're going pitching 2 waters for Megalo, or you're going like Abyss Sphere, get a Lind, and then when Lind dies, get a Spike, pitch another monster, and yada yada yada. You'd already have like close to 3 monsters off of just 1 sphere technically, and a water monster in your hand or something like that. So I guess that's kind of another reason why they banned it. And plus there's a card, Pot of Duplicity, which is pretty much like a Pot of Avarice, but it's more like you have to have 3 different monster types in the graveyard, but you get to shuffle all 3 targets into the deck, then draw 2, but you cannot conduct your battle phase, and you have to activate it at the very start of your main phase 1. So you can't just go herp derp, go do my battle phase, and then activate Pot of Duplicity after my opponent uses Torrential Tribute or something like that. You can't do that with Pot of Duplicity, and I guess that's why they banned this card. I don't know, like it's gonna hurt me a little bit, like my Talea Plants deck, my Gusto deck, obviously my Mermail deck, but like Mermail is obviously broken, but Gusto's it's a nice card to have in there too, and then my plant deck because we like to recycle stuff, and I'm pretty sure a lot of plant players will agree. Spellbook of Judgment, yeah, we already went over that. Super Rejuvenation, now on the OCG listing of a bobber that everyone was talking about, this was at 1. So they just flat out banned the card, and then they're just like, you know what? We may have banned the babies, but we're making sure that nobody uses this card ever again. If we make a new dragon archetype that focuses on discarding, you're not gonna have this card to abuse anymore. So we're just gonna flat out ban it. I mean, and I guess it's like if it was at 1 and you drew the 1 rejuvenation and you get to go off from that, I mean, it would be just as sacky as having a Spellbook of Judgment. But the thing with Spellbook of Judgment is you could search it. So I don't know if putting that to 1 would have done anything. So yeah, now Solemn Judgment. I never imagined I'd see this card getting banned. Like, if anything, I mean, I don't know if, because the thing with like Royal Oppression or whatever, that does, like, it's a little bit different in like how, I mean, they work similarly. I mean, people use these to like stop the opponent if they get like a large field or whatever, and it's pretty much forcing your opponent to like not do stuff. I mean, with Royal Oppression, it's even worse in my opinion, but I don't know. I just don't know why it's banned. I mean, you have to pay off your life, and I know that it's a really good control card, but I mean, I feel like it's not as good as it used to be. I mean, I don't want to go in like 2 or anything like that, or 3 or whatever. I think 1 is fine, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I'm pretty sure there's some reason for it, besides, maybe control decks just using it to lock out the game. Ultimate Offering, I'm okay with this, I guess. Like, the card is just like, it's one of those cards that you open with it, and you activate it, you win the game. Like, the cards like those, I really didn't like cards like those, and I mean, yeah, I actually used it in Madolche, but even then, I admitted it was pretty stupid how you can just go Magdalene, get Butler Rust, get the field spell, and then do all this other crap, summon Croissant, bounce Magdalene with his effects, summon Magdalene again, get another one, it's like, or get another Croissant or whatever, so it's like, really? You can do all that just off of 1 card, so I'm actually glad it's banned. I mean, that's fine. I honestly don't mind that. But limited Atlantean Dragoons. Now, a lot of people were expecting this card to go to 1, and honestly, they actually hit it to 1 like a lot of people were hoping. Now, it's going to suck for anybody who's wanting to play like purely Atlanteans. If you were just wanting to play the Atlanteans by themselves with like Abyss Soldier and stuff like that, it's not going to be as good, obviously, just because Dragoons is one of the most important cards in the deck. But the fact that it was like imbued in Mermail as well, so it pretty much means that if you use that Dragoons, that's the only one you're getting in the entire game. Well, unless you use Pot of Duplicity in your deck, which I'm pretty sure some people might try that. But unless you're using like Pot of Duplicity or some other means to recycle it, that's really the only time you're going to get to use Dragoons, so use it wisely. Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Spirit. Now, the other list had Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Rooster at 1. Now, I feel like this hurts the deck even more. You know why? Because, like, people say that you can play the deck fine even with 1 Rooster, but you can't really do that with just 1 Spirit because it's basically the main tuner of the deck. You summon it, and then you get back a level 3 fire monster with 200 defense or less. Then, summon it in defense mode. Now, you would normally summon Rooster and get a Surge, or you would summon, like, Leopard and go into Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Horse Prince. You synchro into him, get a Rooster from your deck, and then get another Surge and blah, blah, blah. Now, hitting Spirit means you only can do that once unless you make Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Lion Emperor, because Lion Emperor can actually recycle Spirit from the graveyard. But basically, you have to find a way to recycle Spirit. Otherwise, that's the only one you got. So that really sucks for any Fire Fist players out there that are going to try to play the 3-axis Fire Fist deck. Yeah, it does suck, but I guess they had to do it, right? But I don't know. DC Diva. Now, DC Diva is interesting. In fact, if you guys remember, Megalo Diva OTK, because you go summon Megalo, normal summon Diva, get Marksman, tribute the Diva with Megalo's effect, attack with Marksman, get Dragoons with his effect, attack with that, and then attack with Megal twice, and that's like, I think that's exactly 8,000 damage. So this pretty much means you can't do it as frequently now. So if you lose the one diva or whatever, you're gonna have to use stuff like salvage to get it back. And honestly, you have salvage, so you can get it back and stuff like that, and marksman whatever. But Dragoons, not so much, because he has too much attack for salvage. And yeah, Genesis Ally Birdman, same reasons before, because of the Mist Valley Harpy Dancer FTK, and this card was one of the key cards in the deck, besides Harpy Dancer and the Shrine of Mist Valley, which I don't think they actually hit on this list, but I guess they just wanted to hit the one monster that helped make it possible. And you see Bestiari is still at 1, so there's no 2 Bestiari, guys. No 2 Gores either. So you guys don't get that right now. So for everybody like making rough drafts of like dragon plants with like 2 Gores or whatever, you're gonna have to use 1 Gores now, because it's not going to 2. And Grand Mole, it's not at 2, it's still at 1. Rescue Rabbit is at 1. Now, I didn't think they were going to put Rescue Rabbit to 1. I felt like it was okay at 2, just because, like, now this basically means if you're going to run Rescue Rabbit, you're not going to be running like a bajillion normal monsters, because you only have 1 rabbit. So, yeah, if you were planning to play like Dino Rabbit, you better hope and pray you get that Rescue Rabbit, or get the Lagia Dolka pretty early in the game, and Rescue Rabbit was obviously the fast way to do it. Thunder King Ryo, like, I was just like, wow, they really don't want you playing Thunder King Ryo. He went from 3 to 2, and then he's now at 1. So there's a lot of hate for Thunder King, and even though I don't think he did anything last fall, actually, there was some people who cited him, but I don't feel like he did as much as last time, to where, Prophecy. Because the thing is, Prophecy was going to be big or whatever, so obviously they'd have to hit the cards like Thunder King Ryo and stuff like that. And plus, we have that trap card in Shadow Specters called Mistake. Yeah, I know, that's a great name for a card, right? But yeah, it's basically a continuous trap that says, neither player can add cards from their deck to hand except by drawing them. It's basically the continuous trap version of Thunder King Ryo, and I guess that's another reason why they put this card at 1. So you pretty much have to use that trap now if you want to stop adding cards. Wind Up Magician's still at 1. So it's not at 3, and Wind Up Shark's at 3. So yeah, you don't have that to look forward to. Evigishki Mind August, still because of the loop with the Evigish kill deck that basically makes your opponent mill out and they lose. Delorean, this was interesting. I don't know why they hit this to 1. I mean, I know why it can't be at 3 because of Symbol of Heritage, but I mean, well, now you can only run 1, but it's kind of weird because a lot of decks were only running 1 anyways. But I'm pretty sure there's got to be some reason behind this card going to 1. Because maybe at 2, there was something else that was pretty broken that they were like, okay, we got to put this to 1, otherwise it's going to cause some problems later down the road. And simply put. Now for the spells, Dimensional Fissure. Now, this card in Macrocosmos got hit to 1. Which I was like, whoa. Like, now, this was on a wish list by Patrick Hoban. He had a list which had cards like Gozen Match and Rivalry of Warlords, Macrocosmos, and Dimensional Fissure. Now, a lot of us were making fun of him for that list, and god damn it, he had to be right about Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure, and he was right about Dragoons too, so that's whatever. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see them at 1, and I don't know. We'll have to adjust to it, but now you can't just go main deck Macrocosmos or Dimensional Fissure and just lock out the game, I guess, and especially when certain decks like Vampires that are coming out need the graveyard, so they just wanted to keep it under control, I guess, even though I feel like it wasn't as big of a deal as everybody thought. Gold Sark. Again, this is just because of Dragon Wars, but they already hit the Baby Dragon, so was it really necessary to hit this deck? Hit Gold Sarcophagus? Now, I guess that just means that I guess they really don't want you playing Dragon Wars by themselves in any way, even if you're trying to like run the dragons by themselves and some other weird tech cards. They're trying to keep you from like abusing their effects and whatnot. So yeah, apparently it's gonna go to 1 because of that. Royal Tribute to 1. Now the card It's a really annoying card, but I didn't expect them to do anything about it. Just because, Gravekeepers haven't done anything. But I guess under this list, they would be able to do something. So I guess that's why they preemptively hit Royal Tribute to 1. Then for the traps, Bottomless. No, Bottomless to 1. Now, I'm trying to remember at one time it was at 1, wasn't it? I don't remember. It was a long time ago, but I think it was at 1 at some point, and then it went to 2, but it never went to 3. Especially since the Trap Tricks Meyer Melio or whatever could search this card out. I really hope it's not why this card got limited. If it's because of the Trap Tricks archetype, I'm gonna be kind of upset about that. And I guess it's just because everyone's running in it too. I guess it's like with Book of Moon. Like, you'd run as many copies of Book of Moon as you were allowed. You'd run as many copies of Bottomless as you were allowed, even though in the format where we had Insectors with 3 Hornet and 3 Dragonfly, Bottomless was kind of useless because it couldn't hit the Dragonfly, it can't hit Hornet. It could hit Centipede, but that's it, really. So, I don't know. I guess it's just like one of those cards like, oh my god, it's too much of a staple, we're going to put it to 1. Same with Compulse, Eradicator, Macrocosmos, Soul Drain, and Torrential. Torrential, it's back at 1 again. Remember when it went to 2? Yeah, I remember that. And I don't know, I'll have to adjust to it, but this pretty much means once you use that Torrential Tribute, that's it. Unless you recycle it with Mask of Darkness, you're not getting this back. So use it wisely. That's basically kind of what Konami's saying with this list. Like a Pulse, you only get 1, so use it wisely. Eradicator, you're not going to be drawing in and sacking Spellbook players anymore. Or you're not going to be drawing in and sacking like Chainburn or anything like that. It uses like a lot of traps and spells. So, and then, I already talked about Macrocosmos. Soul Drain is interesting, I guess, for the same reason they hit Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure. I guess it's just because it locks off graveyard effects, and I guess because they don't want that in the game right now, especially with the archetypes like vampires coming out. They need the graveyard for some of their effects and whatever, so I guess I guess it's kind of like promoting that stuff. And for the record, the ban list is going to be updated every 4 months. So it's going to be 4 times a year, not 2. So I think after December 31st, we're going to get a updated list or whatever. So cards will probably get moved back or moved up to ban or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much how that worked. For the semi-limits, we have Mizuki, Plague Spreader. So yeah, I know a lot of people were wanting these cards to be back at 2, and that's kind of cool. Now, I'm trying to remember, there was something about Mizuki at 2 that was very dangerous, but I guess it wouldn't be as bad now, but we'll have to see. And then Plague Spreader Zombie, I guess same thing with him, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's just because it's just a really good tuner monster, and it's a zombie, so you can like bring it back with like Zombie Master, stuff like that. So, I don't know. TG Striker. A lot of people were excited about this, and a lot of people were like wanting this card to come back to 2. And for the longest time, it never went from 1 to 2, ever since it was put to 1. So yeah, TG Stun is back, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I'm happy for anyone who's playing TGs, and now you have another TG Striker to work with, or just any decks that just like a free special summon level Cyber Dragon tuner type monster thingy. Fire Formation Tanky because Fire Fist, and I guess it's just because, they're going to be pretty big, and it also kind of hits Bujin because Bujin needs a Yamato and the new Beast Warrior from Shadow Specters, Mikazuchi. So, obviously, this limits how often you're going to get that Tanky. So, basically, once you use up your first Tanky and you get another one, use it wisely because you only get 2 unless you recycle it with Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Cardinal, which I'm thinking is going to go up in price, especially if people want to reuse Tanky and stuff like that. Yeah. Then Dimensional Prison at 2. Okay, I have not much to say. I don't think people were really wanting 3, but if they were, then you can't run 3 anymore, simply put. But the unlimited stuff, the things that are no longer on the list, that are basically at 3 now. Destiny Malicious. Damn, I never thought I would see that. Destiny Hero Malicious going to 3. Now, I don't expect, I don't know. I think I saw some people commenting about Teledad or whatever, and I don't think it's going to be coming back just because you only got one Dark Arm Dragon. and Straddles is banned. So you don't have the whole Straddles get malicious, destiny draw, discard it to the grave, draw 2, and banish it, summon another malicious, that to be eat teleport, get out Krebons, make a Stardust or whatever. You don't have that easy access anymore. You have to like draw into all those combo pieces, and it's not as fast. Agent Mr. Earth, welcome back agents, I guess. Because, agents aren't doing anything, so they can have 3 Earths. Tsukiyomi, same deal. Hero lives, any emergency call. Yeah, that's what I mean with, it was pretty much like a kick in the balls. Like, oh, we're going to give you 3 hero lives and 3 e-call, but we're going to ban Straddles at the same time. We hope you don't mind. And I know a lot of people were kind of upset about that, and I'm kind of upset too. Not because like I'm a hero player at the moment or whatever, but Straddles was kind of one of those sentimental cards to me years ago when I tried to build heroes, like classic heroes, with like polymerization and stuff like that, making all the cool fusions like Flame Wingman, Thunder Giant, stuff like that. It was pretty fun, and Straddles was such a good card, and it helped a lot. So, it does hurt. It does upset me a little bit, not because I'm a hero player right now, but because it's a bit sentimental to me. Black Whirlwind, though, yeah, if Wind Up Factory's at 3, Whirlwind should be at 3, right? I don't know. They work a little bit differently, but, let's see what happens with Black Whirlwind at 3. I wonder what they'll do. They still have Gale at 1, though, so, this will be interesting. Hieratic Seal Convocation for Hieratics. Yeah, I don't know. I have nothing to say about that. They're not doing anything at the moment. Pot of Duality, now, a lot of people were like, why is this card semi-limited? I think it was just because, like, a lot of the decks in the OCG were running it at the time. Like Inzektor's and stuff like that, where they just wanted to dig for their combo pieces before they go off on the next turn. And, they had cards like maybe like Threatening Roar or whatever to stop the opponent from, like, trying to overcome their field. But it was just like a very good generic card, because basically with Duality, you just go, you flip 3 cards off the top, and, out of those 3 cards, you get one of them to your hand. But you get to look at the top 3 cards. So if you flipped like a Heavy Storm or something like that, or a TG Striker, I guess, you're obviously going to get that card because it's so crucial to your next turn's play. And in certain decks like Anti-Meta or GBs or whatever that don't always special summon, it's nice to have, to boost consistency of slower decks. And then Scapegoat to 3. Now, Scapegoat to 3, this is definitely something the OCG list had as well. Pretty much, 3 Scapegoat, I guess. High Destiny Hero Plasma deck. I wonder how long that's going to last, but it's going to be interesting. And plus, some Mecha Phantom Beast can use as well. The only reason I don't run it in the deck, though, is because, well, we already have a lot of ways to get tokens out. And if I already have a token on the field, Scapegoat's dead, and I don't want to set it and have it get it blow it up. But I guess since it's at 3, it's like, who cares if I lose 1 Scapegoat? I have 2 more in my deck. So, yeah, it's definitely interesting. Part of it really upset me, like the Heavy Storm, and I'll get over it. I'll run the cards in my Talea Plants deck because Heavy Storm was kind of key in that deck, but there are other alternatives, and I will have to stick to those alternatives now, and the decks I play will have to get modified accordingly. Like my Mermail deck, my Gusto deck, they gotta all be modified by the new list because several cards got banned, and a lot of decks need to get changed out too, because a lot of decks ran Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn. And the only one that's not banned is Dark Hole. So if they banned Dark Hole, I would have been like, oh my god, you banned the Trinity. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. And I don't know. This is like the first time I've never been so mixed on a ban list like this. Cause a lot of the cards like Dragoons, they hit that. I know they had to do it eventually. And, stuff like Super Juve and Spellbook of Judgment, I understand that. And then when you go to, like, Solemn Judgment, you go to that, you go to Stratos, I'm like, what the heck? And then Rescue Rabbit and Thunder King and freaking Royal Tribute, Bottomless. I guess it's just because they want you to, like, stop using these generic cards. They want you to use other cards now. So you have to run other cards in place of like Bottomless, Compulse, etc. And Eradicator, just because Eradicator is freaking good against spellbooks and stuff like that. Well, yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys later. And it's pretty much going to take effect on the 1st, and it's going to last till December 31st. So 4 months. It's going to be a long 4 months, I'll tell you that. So, I'll adjust to it, of course, but earlier I was almost crying because of this list, just because like I was just like so sad about some of the banned cards, and then some of the cards they put the 1, and I'm like, what the heck? But yeah, anyways, I'm done. So see you guys later. Peace.